In a whirlwind week of MMA news, we've got a bizarre arrest, heated rematch talk, a legendary retirement debate, and fighter feuds that just won't quit. Let's dive right into the madness. In one of the most shocking scenes to hit MMA social media in recent memory, an ex-UFC Double Champion was arrested by a team of half a dozen officers in his own home. Video footage that quickly went viral shows the fighter being taken into custody for alleged harassment, though details remain murky. The scene was chaotic. The former champ was clearly caught off guard, asking officers what exactly he had done to warrant the arrest. "What kind of harassment? I just went to get the mail," he protested, visibly confused and frustrated. "Anybody can say anything at any time, and that's it." His confusion echoed what many fans were thinking. With police unable to provide clear answers on the spot, questions about whether this was a targeted arrest or a misunderstanding continued to swirl. At one point, the fighter asked if he could contact another officer he knew personally, seemingly seeking clarity in what felt like a surreal ambush. Supporters of the fighter, who was once celebrated as one of the UFC's most dominant champions, are now rallying for answers. Whether this incident was a case of mistaken identity, a civil dispute gone wrong, or something more serious, the MMA world is waiting for a statement from legal representatives or the fighter's camp. For now, the image of a former UFC icon being escorted out of his bedroom in cuffs has sent shockwaves through the sport. While drama played out off the mats, speculation around a high-stakes rematch between Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev has fans fired up. One major voice in the MMA community recently argued that Pereira has a real shot at beating Ankalaev, despite many viewing the Dagestani as the division's most dangerous dark horse. The analysis points to activity, momentum, and star power. "Alex goes too hard, sure, but is active," the analyst said. "Is traveling, fighting top competition, defending titles, changing weight classes. Meanwhile, Ankalaev is riding the bench." The contrast between the two fighters goes beyond skills. It's about lifestyle. Uncle Liv, the nickname jokingly applied to Ankalaev, probably lives in a cave somewhere. The sentiment being, while Pereira is dealing with the pressures of fame, media, and global appearances, Ankalaev has the advantage of isolation, focus, and no spotlight. But that spotlight comes with perks too. Pereira is a global superstar. Everywhere he goes, people recognize him. That kind of pressure can forge mental steel or burn a fighter out. If Pereira can reset, avoid distractions, and come in fresh, some believe he has the tools to overwhelm Ankalaev. One thing's for sure, if this rematch gets booked, it's going to be fireworks. Khabib Nurmagomedov's sudden retirement after his 29-0 run remains one of the biggest what-ifs in MMA history. Recently, a close confidant and MMA analyst reignited the debate, claiming the UFC missed a massive opportunity to keep Khabib in the game, not by offering more money, but by changing weight classes. They added more commas, more zeros, the insider revealed. But they didn't change the thing that mattered: 155 pounds. According to the source, Khabib was simply done with the brutal weight cuts. If the UFC had offered him a super fight at 170, maybe even a rematch with Conor McGregor, things might have played out differently. More than money on matchups, though, the real tipping point was emotional. The death of Khabib's father, his coach and mentor, cut deep. His mother's wish for him to retire sealed it. A promise was made, and for a man of Khabib's integrity, that was the end. Still, many argue that Khabib had years of dominance left. Islam Makhachev may be carrying the torch, but there's no replacing the aura of the Eagle. In other MMA headlines, comparisons between injured fighters made for some amusing moments. One fighter, dealing with a pinky toe injury, was asked about Conor McGregor pulling out of a bout for a similar issue. "I don't want to comment on Conor's pain. But me? I've still got 9 toes. I'm good," he said, laughing. "I don't need my little toe." That kind of grit is what separates top-tier fighters from the pack. It also subtly throws shade, without naming names. The recent arrest video was uncomfortable to watch for many. As the former champion was being led away, confusion filled the room. Friends and family were filming, demanding explanations, asking, "What did he do?" No one had answers. "Do you guys have a special team that came just to get me out of the house?" the fighter asked, visibly shaken. "Is this real?" He was denied time to collect his belongings, his phone, or even money. "My debit card's busted," he explained. "I don't have anything." The officers insisted he get a chance to post bail, but details remained vague. Regardless of the charges, which were described as a petty misdemeanor, the optics of the arrest are already creating a PR storm. Whether guilty or not, the footage paints a chaotic and humiliating picture for a former champ who once stood on top of the MMA world. It's easy to forget that behind the championships, highlight reel knockouts, and million-dollar paydays, MMA fighters are still human. They face pressure, injury, legal troubles, and mental strain just like anyone else. This past week has been a stark reminder. In this sport, drama doesn't stop when the cage door closes. From shocking arrests to legacy debates, and from international rematches to subtle digs at rivals, MMA continues to deliver on every front. Stay tuned, because in the world of mixed martial arts, you never know what's coming next.